Listen, I recorded a video of my wife, not because I wanted to, but because I had to know. And what I saw in that video, it destroyed everything I thought I knew about my marriage for 15 years. My name is Kerem. I'm 42 years old. I live in Istanbul, in a small apartment in Beşiktaş. Nothing special, just a man who thought he had a life, a wife, a home. But I didn't have any of those things. I just had the illusion of them. I've been married to Seelan for 15 years. 15 years. When you hear that number, it sounds like a long time, right? Like something solid, something permanent. But it's not. 15 years can disappear in a single video, in 8 minutes and 43 seconds of footage. I work in marketing. I'm good at my job. I make decent money. I come home, I eat, I sleep, I wake up, I do it all again. That's what I thought my life was. That's what I thought marriage was. But I was wrong about everything. Seelan works in accounting. She's smart. She's beautiful. Or she was. I don't know anymore because I stopped really looking at her a long time ago. We stopped seeing each other. We just existed in the same space. Two ghosts. Two people who slept next to each other but lived in completely different worlds. It started small. The way these things always do. Seelan was always on her phone. Always. I told myself it was work. Everyone's on their phone in 2024. That's normal. But it was different. There was something about the way she'd look at the screen, the way her face would light up when a message came in, the way she'd quickly lock it when I walked into the room. I didn't want to see. That's the real truth. I didn't want to know. Because knowing would mean dealing with it, and dealing with it would mean having difficult conversations. And I wasn't ready for that, so I pretended not to notice. I pretended that the distance between us was normal. I pretended that her flinching when I touched her was just because she was tired. I pretended a lot of things. She stopped wanting to go out. She stopped wanting to spend time with me. Every time I suggested we do something together, she had an excuse. I'm too tired. Didem and I have plans. I need to work late. Didem was her friend, or so I thought, always available, always ready to go out with Seelan. One night, I asked Seelan if we could watch a football match together. Beşiktaş was playing. I thought maybe we could sit on the couch together like we used to, like we were still a team. She said, Kerem, I promised Didem I'd meet her. Tomorrow. I said, just tonight, just this match. I can't. I already promised her. Promises. She made promises to everyone except me. And I let her. Because that's what you do when you're afraid. You let them go. You tell yourself that's love, trust, freedom. But it's not. It's just fear. My friend Sam at work noticed something was wrong. We were having coffee one morning and he just looked at me and said, Kerem, you look like hell. I told him everything. About the phone, about the excuses, about the distance, about sleeping next to someone who feels 1,000 miles away. Sam listened without interrupting. When I was done, he said something I didn't want to hear. Maybe you should know for sure. Know what? What she's doing, who she's really seeing. She's not seeing anyone. She's with Didem, or at work, or... Are you sure? I wasn't sure. That's the thing about suspicion. Once it gets inside your head, it grows. Every excuse becomes evidence. Every late night becomes a betrayal. Every time she's on her phone becomes a confession. Suspicion is a weed, and I was planting it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed next to Seelan, and I thought about what Cem had said. I thought about it so hard that it became real in my mind. It became certainty. And certainty, no matter how unfounded, is a powerful thing. I made a decision that night, a decision that would change everything. The next day, I went online. I searched for small cameras, wireless cameras, security cameras, the kind that nobody would notice unless they were specifically looking for it, the kind of camera that a man with suspicion would buy. I told myself it was for security, for protection. That's what we tell ourselves when we do things we know are wrong. We dress them up in legitimate language. But the truth is, I was spying on my wife. I was becoming the kind of man I never wanted to be. But I did it anyway. I ordered the camera online. It arrived 2 days later. Small, black, expensive. I felt ashamed. I felt like a criminal. But I installed it anyway. Put it in the living room, behind the TV. So small that if you weren't looking for it, you'd never see it. Then I downloaded the app on my phone. I set up my account. I tested it. Everything worked perfectly. And then I waited. For 2 days, nothing happened. Seelan went to work. She came home, she ate dinner, she watched TV, she went to bed. It was all so normal. I started to think that maybe Cem was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was the paranoid one. But then Thursday came. It was exactly 1:45 in the afternoon. I was in the middle of a client meeting. Boring stuff, regular stuff. But I couldn't focus. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. But then it buzzed again. And again. I made an excuse and went to the bathroom. I opened the camera app on my phone. Seelan was at home, but she wasn't alone. A man was there. A man I'd never seen before, and Seelan was smiling at him. Not the polite smile she gave me. A real smile. An alive smile. A smile that said she was happy. Genuinely happy. For the first time in years, I watched as the man reached out and touched her face, and she didn't flinch. She leaned into it. She closed her eyes. And then they kissed. It was a real kiss. Long, passionate, desperate. The kind of kiss that says, I've been wanting this for a long time. The kind of kiss that says you're the only person in the world. I watched them break apart, and then they walked to the kitchen, to the marble countertop, the one we'd bought together 5 years ago, the one I'd eaten breakfast on that morning. They didn't go to the bedroom. They didn't go to the couch. They went to the kitchen. I couldn't watch anymore. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating so fast I thought I was having a heart attack. I closed the app, and I went back to the meeting. My client was looking at me. Kerem, are you okay? You look pale. I'm fine, I said. Just something I ate. Let's continue. But I wasn't fine. I was dying. Right there in that conference room, I was dying. From 1:45 to 4, I sat in that meeting and I pretended to pay attention. But the whole time, I was somewhere else. I was in my apartment, on my marble countertop, watching my wife with another man. When the meeting finally ended, I packed up my things and I walked to my car. I drove around the city for 2 hours. I didn't go home. I couldn't go home. I went to a coffee shop. I ordered an espresso. I didn't drink. I opened my phone and I watched the video again and again and again. 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Confirmed. Recorded. Permanent. My wife. Another man. My home. My life. Everything broken. The next Thursday, I didn't need to leave work early. The camera told me everything. He arrived at 1:50. She greeted him at the door like she'd been waiting for him, like she couldn't wait to see him. They kissed. They went to the kitchen. Same place, same time. Different clothes, but same everything else. 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, exactly like last time. I checked the camera app. I could see every single video, every single Thursday, like clockwork. Like it was scheduled. Like it was the most important appointment of her week. Every Thursday, she said she was meeting with Dietem. Every Thursday, she was in our apartment with this man on our countertop. I called Cem. I didn't say hello. I just said, come to my apartment tonight. Don't ask why, just come. When Cem arrived, I showed him the video. He watched it without saying anything. His face got darker. When it ended, he was silent for a long time. Do you know who this is? He finally asked. No, not yet. Do you want to find out? Yes, but I also don't want to. Does that make sense? It makes perfect sense, Cem said. We searched online. I went to Sealand's company website. We looked at the employee directory. We scrolled through faces. And then we found him. A man named Fadi, coordinator at Sealand's accounting firm. They worked together every single day. They saw each other 8 hours a day at the office, and then they saw each other on Thursdays at home. Cem clicked on his LinkedIn profile. Fadi was married. He had 2 children. He lived in Ankara but worked in Istanbul. This is calculated, Cem said. This isn't a mistake. This is planned. This is deliberate. This is an affair. An affair. The word I didn't want to say. The word that made it real. What are you going to do? Cem asked. I don't know, I said. And I meant it. I decided to wait. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't scream. I didn't yell. I just watched. Every Thursday, Fadi would arrive at 1:50 p.m. Every Thursday, they would spend 2 hours together. Every Thursday, I would feel a piece of my heart die. I started to notice patterns. The way she'd text him before he arrived. The way she'd make sure the apartment was clean. The way she'd wear perfume. The way she'd do her hair. All for him. Everything for him. Nothing for me. I watched her live a secret life. A life I wasn't part of. A life that made her happy. One night, I called Cem and I asked him, do you think I should just let her go? Kerem, Cem said, you can let her go, but she has to know that you can't just pretend forever. He was right. Once I said something, the marriage would be over. The illusion would be gone. Everything would change. But it was already changing. I just wasn't ready to accept it. I told Sealand I had a work dinner on Saturday evening. I told her I'd be late. I told her to do whatever she wanted. I could see the relief on her face. Saturday morning, I made breakfast. I sat at the kitchen table. The marble countertop gleamed above me. I traced my finger along it, and I thought about all the times I'd sat here, eating, reading the newspaper, living a life that was nothing. Sealand came into the kitchen. She looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes. Anticipation, nervousness, guilt, maybe. I might go out tonight, she said casually. With Dietem. We're meeting some friends. I might be late. Lies. So many lies. Of course, I said. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. She left at 7 o'clock. I watched her leave, and then I opened the camera app. She arrived at Fatih's. Wait, no. She came back to ours. At 7:15, she let him in. They started at 7:30. Different this time. On the couch this time, not the counter, the couch where we used to sit together. I was watching from my phone, and I realized that I couldn't watch anymore. I had to do something. I drove to a bar. I ordered whiskey. Then another. Then another. I sat there for 3 hours and I drank, and I didn't think about anything. Or I thought about everything. I couldn't tell the difference anymore. Sem called me. Kerem, where are you? A bar, near Taksim. I'm coming to get you. When Kem arrived, I was on my 4th drink. He sat down next to me and he ordered a beer. I saw it again. I said, tonight? They did it again. On the couch this time. Or couch. I know, Kem said. How do you know? Because I know you. And I know what you would do. Kem was right. He's always right. What should I do? I asked. You should go home. You should confront her. You should tell her that you know. And then you should decide what you're going to do next, Sunday morning. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed next to Celine, listening to her breathe, and I thought about what I was going to say. She woke up before me. She showered. She got ready. She came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, and when she saw me sitting on the bed, she knew. Somehow, she knew. I didn't say anything. I just turned on the TV. I opened my phone. I pulled up the video. Thursday, 2 RPM to 4 RPM. I played it. Celine watched her own face on the screen. She watched herself kiss him. She watched herself touch him. She watched herself be someone else. She started crying. Kerem, she whispered. I can explain. How many times? I asked. My voice was calm. Too calm? What? How many times? How many times did you do this? I don't know. Kerem, don't lie to me. Not anymore. Just tell me the truth. How many times? Celine sat down on the bed. 3 months, she finally said. We've been seeing each other for about 3 months. Once or twice a week. I don't know exactly. 3 months. At least 24 times. At least 24 times she came here and did this. At least 24 times she looked me in the eye and lied. Why? I asked. Why did you do this? And then she told me. She told me that I didn't see her. That I didn't listen to her. That I made her feel invisible. That Fatih made her feel like she mattered. That when she was with him, she felt alive. You stopped looking at me, she said, crying. You stopped touching me. You stopped caring. And Fatih looked at me. Fatih listened to me. Fatih made me feel like I was worth something. I wanted to yell at her. I wanted to tell her she was a liar. But I couldn't, because deep down I knew she was right. I had stopped seeing her. I had stopped listening. I had stopped caring. But that didn't make it okay. Get out, I said. What? Get out. Get out of this apartment. I don't care where you go, but get out of here. I called a lawyer, a man named Mehmet. He specialized in family law, divorce cases. Mehmet told me that I had a few options. I could fight for the apartment. I could fight for half of our savings. I could fight for everything, but fighting would be expensive and painful. Or, he said, you can just agree to split things fairly and move on with your life. I chose to move on. I told Mehmet that Celine could keep the apartment. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted out. I just wanted to stop living in that space where I'd watched my wife cheat on me. Celine was surprised when I told her, you can have the apartment, I said. Take it. I don't want it. I don't want anything that reminds me of what happened here. 1 month later, I packed my things. Not much. Clothes, my laptop, some books. That was it. That was my life. Sem helped me move. We loaded everything into his truck. I took one last look around the apartment, at the kitchen counter, at the couch, at the living room where the camera was still hidden. I walked to the camera and I turned it off. I deleted the app from my phone. I erased all the videos. I didn't need them anymore. Sem helped me move into a small studio apartment in Kadıköy. It's small. It's not much, but it's mine. It's quiet. There's no one here but me. The first night in the new place, I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed in the dark and I thought about all of it. About 15 years. About the life I thought I had. About the marriage I thought was real. But I was wrong about all of it. It's been 4 months now. The divorce papers have been signed. The apartment has been divided. The life we built together has been cut in half. Celine tried to reach out a few times. Through her lawyer. Through mutual friends. She wanted to talk. She wanted forgiveness. But I don't have anything to say to her. I deleted the camera app. But I still remember what I saw. The human brain is good like that. It holds on to pain. It keeps it fresh. It never lets you forget. I saw Celine once. We ran into each other at a coffee shop. She looked different. Happier, maybe? I didn't talk to her. What do you say to the person you spent 15 years with after they betray you? What words exist for that? She told me that Fatih left his wife. That they were together now. I didn't ask for details. Some things are better left unknown. Forgiveness isn't something I've achieved. It's not something I'm working towards. It's just something that may or may not happen someday. I don't know. But I do know that staying angry, staying hurt, staying attached to the betrayal isn't helping me. It's just keeping me in that apartment with Celine and Fatih and that marble countertop. It's keeping me in the moment I pressed record, so I'm working on something else. I'm working on moving forward. I'm working on building a new life. A life where I don't have to wonder what my wife is doing when she's not with me. A life where I'm not checking cameras and comparing timestamps and adding up lies. Is it lonely? Yes. Is it painful? Yes, but it's mine. And that matters. That matters more than anything. One day, about 3 months after I moved out, I was sitting in my studio apartment and I realized something. The pain was getting smaller. Not gone, never completely gone, but smaller, more manageable. Like a wound that's starting to heal. I thought about calling Celine. I thought about asking her to meet for coffee. I thought about trying to understand what happened, why she did it, how she could do it. But then I realized something else. Understanding wouldn't change anything. Knowing wouldn't make it hurt less. Forgiveness wouldn't give me back what I lost. So I stopped thinking about it. Or I tried to. I can't say I succeeded. But I tried. I deleted my email account, the one I shared history with on. I deleted the photos from our wedding. Not because I wanted to forget, but because I needed to. I needed to stop carrying that weight around. I needed to let go of the illusion that we were ever really happy. Maybe we were happy at some point. Maybe in the beginning, when everything was new, we were genuinely happy. But somewhere along the way, it stopped. We stopped. And we didn't notice until it was too late. I started going to the gym. I started eating better. I started sleeping without nightmares. I started living a life that was just mine. No one to answer to. No one to lie to. No one to disappoint. One day Kim asked me, "Do you think you'll ever get married again?" "I don't know," I said. "I don't know if I can trust anyone anymore. I don't know if I can believe that someone won't do what Celine did." "That's not fair," Kim said. "You can't judge every woman based on what one woman did." "I know, but trust is like a vase. Once it breaks, even if you glue it back together, it's never the same. There are always cracks. There are always weak points. And you always remember that it can break again. So you're saying you'll never trust anyone?" "I'm saying I'll be more careful. I'm saying I won't ignore the warning signs. I'm saying I won't let someone make me invisible again. I still have the camera app on my laptop. I never deleted it. The videos are all gone, but the app is still there. Sometimes I open it and I just look at it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm testing myself. Maybe I'm making sure that I'm strong enough not to watch them again. Last month, I almost downloaded the videos from the cloud backup. Almost. I wanted to see if they were still there. I wanted to see if I could watch them without feeling that crushing pain in my chest, but I stopped myself. Because I knew that watching them again wouldn't help me. It would just pull me back into that dark place. It would just remind me of everything I'm trying to forget. So I deleted the backup. All of it. Gone. I don't have the videos anymore. I don't have proof of what happened. But I have the memory. And that's enough. I met someone new. Her name is Aylin. She's a teacher. She teaches literature at a private school. She's smart. She's kind. She's nothing like Celine. When I first met her, I was scared. I didn't want to get close to anyone. I didn't want to risk being hurt again. But she was patient. She didn't push. She didn't ask too many questions. She just was there. And slowly I started to trust her. Not completely. I don't know if I'll ever trust completely again, but enough to let her in. Enough to try. I haven't told her about Celine. I haven't told her about the camera. I haven't told her about the betrayal, but I think she knows something happened. She can see it in my eyes. She can feel it in the way I hesitate sometimes, in the way I can't fully let go. One day, she asked, "Me, do you believe in second chances?" "I don't know," I said. "I believe in trying, but I don't know if I believe in second chances." Why not? Because sometimes things are broken beyond repair. Sometimes the damage is too much. Sometimes the only thing you can do is let go. "Is that what you did?" she asked. "Let go of your wife?" I looked at her and I realized that I'd never actually told her I was married. "Yes," I said. "That's what I did." She took my hand and she didn't say anything else. She just held it. And for the first time in months, I felt like maybe, just maybe, I could be okay again. Here's what I want you to understand if you're watching this. If you're in a relationship that feels distant, if you're starting to suspect that something is wrong, if you're thinking about buying a camera to check on your partner, don't, not because I regret knowing. I don't. I needed to know, but I needed to know in a different way. I needed to ask her. I needed to talk to her. I needed to give her a chance to tell me the truth. What I did was invasive. It was wrong. It violated her privacy and her autonomy. And even though she betrayed me, 2 wrongs don't make a right. They just make 2 broken people instead of 1. If you're suspecting infidelity, confront it. Talk about it. Have the difficult conversation. Don't hide behind a camera and collect evidence like some kind of detective. That's not a relationship. That's a crime scene investigation. And if your suspicions are confirmed, then make a decision. Not in anger, not in pain, but in clarity. Decide whether you want to fight for the relationship or walk away. But make that decision knowing that you did everything you could to save it, or walk away, knowing that you gave it your best shot and it just wasn't enough. You know what's funny? The camera is still in the apartment. I know because I never actually retrieved it. It's still there, hidden behind the TV in that living room where my marriage ended. Celine never found it. Or maybe she did and just didn't care anymore. I sometimes think about going back and getting it, destroying it, making sure that there's no evidence that it ever existed. But I haven't done it. Part of me wants to leave it there. Part of me wants it to be a reminder, a permanent record of what happened, a ghost in that apartment. Maybe someday Celine will find it and know that I knew. Maybe that will explain my silence on that Sunday morning. Maybe that will be the closure she never got. Or maybe she'll never find it and it will just sit there, gathering dust, recording nothing, serving no purpose. Either way, it doesn't matter to me anymore. If you're watching this and you're thinking about buying a camera, I want to tell you something. Don't. The truth isn't worth the price you'll pay to get it. Yes, you'll know. Yes, you'll have evidence. Yes, you'll be able to prove that you were right. But what will that give you? Pain? Betrayal? Confirmation of your worst fears? The things we choose not to know are sometimes the things that keep us alive. The things we choose not to see are sometimes the things that keep us sane. I wish I'd never bought that camera. Not because I wouldn't have found out anyway. I probably would have. But because I would have found out in a human way. Through conversation. Through confrontation. Through the kind of painful but necessary dialogue that might have actually saved the marriage. Instead, I found out by watching a video. I found out by spying. I found out by being the worst version of myself. And in doing that, I became part of the problem instead of part of the solution. It's been a year now. The divorce is final. The apartment is officially Selin's. I've moved on. Aylin and I are talking about getting a place together. It's new. It's scary, but it's also hopeful. I haven't seen Selin in 6 months. I heard through mutual friends that Fatih left his wife completely. That he and Selin moved in together. That they're happy. Good for them, I guess. I hope they are happy. Not for their sake, for mine. Because if they're happy, that means something good came out of all this pain. That means my 15 years of marriage ended for a reason. That means it wasn't all for nothing. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know if anything good came out of it. I just know that I survived it. I know that I'm still here. I know that I'm learning how to trust again. I know that I'm learning how to let someone in. I know that I'm learning how to be vulnerable without being stupid. And maybe that's enough. If this story touched you, if you've been in a situation like this, if you've ever suspected that the person you loved was betraying you, then subscribe. Because there are more stories like this. Real stories. Stories about real people with real problems. Stories about people who survived betrayal and came out the other side. Comment. Tell me your story. Maybe yours is like mine. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's different. But maybe someone else needs to hear it. Maybe someone else needs to know that they're not alone in this. And remember something. A camera doesn't fix a broken marriage. A camera doesn't heal a broken heart. A camera just accelerates the pain. It speeds up the ending. It makes the truth impossible to ignore. The real work is in the talking. The real work is in the listening. The real work is in the choosing. Choose to see your partner. Choose to be seen. Choose to have the difficult conversations. Choose to fight for what you have before you have to fight for what's left of it. Because once the camera catches something, it's too late. The thing is already gone. You're just documenting the death. You're just filming the funeral of a love that was already dead. I wish I'd known that before I pressed record, but I didn't, and now you do. The end, thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for caring enough to hear what I had to say. If you take nothing else from this, take this. Don't spy on the people you love. Don't invade their privacy. Don't hide cameras in your home. Don't collect evidence like you're building a case. Because relationships aren't about winning cases. They're about winning hearts. And hearts, once broken, don't always heal. Sometimes they just learn to beat in a different rhythm. Subscribe, share, tell me your story. Because we're all just trying to figure this out together. And maybe, just maybe, if we listen to each other's stories, we'll figure it out a little bit better. See you next time.